The grief from child loss is so difficult to understand. When the loss of a child first happens, we feel such raw pain that it's almost humanly impossible to choose the right words to explain how deep the pain feels. And that pain continues on for several months, and we don't know how to deal with it. There's a hole left in our hearts, and it's a raw burning hole, and we have all kinds of physical symptoms that go along with it. We can experience headaches and stomach aches and nausea and empty arms, and our legs can ache and our backs can ache, and we feel too tired, or we can't sleep at all, or we're not hungry, or we're way too hungry. We want to stuff ourselves with food to receive some comfort, and we just feel totally full of pain. And then about 6 months into this thing called child loss, we begin to feel somewhat calmer, and we feel less raw with our pain. And I'm speaking from experience as a bereaved mom 2 times over now, that something, I'll call it terrible, happens after about a year. And that something terrible that happens is that we get a resurgence of grief all over again. I call it that second round of grief that's even worse than the first time around. Year 2 is often far more difficult in our grieving process than year 1. And a lot of people will write me and email me, even call me, or when I'm giving a talk, they'll come up to me afterwards and say, "What's going on? Why is year 2 worse than year 1? Why do I feel so terrible? Why do I feel immobilized? Why do I feel like I don't even want to live anymore?" And the reason is quite simple, really. That's because reality has set in. When child loss first takes place, we live in somewhat of a sheltered grief. We don't feel the full impact of the loss. We know completely that our child has died. The knowledge is there, but the reality is that back deep in our minds, we somehow still have a hope that our child is going to walk through that door. I am a 2-time over bereaved mom. 25 years ago, I lost a son, baby boy, and 5 months ago, I lost an adult son. I can tell you this, that right now, I'm in the stage of when the phone rings, I'm thinking, hoping, praying that somehow I'll hear from Mike. That Mike is going to say, "I'm coming home for Christmas." I really hope that. I know that it's not true, but I hope it. I know and I understand what happened, but I pray to God that it really didn't happen. And that's the part that other people don't get when we say that our grief lingers and our grief is much worse in year 2. Because by year 2, we understand that it's all real. I wish that somehow bereaved parents didn't have to do the explaining to other people. I wish that people would get it, that our hearts are broken forever, and that the need for support doesn't end in just a couple of weeks. We need ongoing love and support and understanding.